Good to see you. Good to be here for another show. You know, a lot happened this past week. Got a lot going on. And we're gonna chop it up because like just like past week kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but at the same time,
why?
it's we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about it. We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
But as you know, it's the RoundHouse RoundTable. It's me, Armani T, and I got B in the building. And we in here, we got some shit to talk about it. So let's get it.
I swear my glow up in lightning. Hot yeah, something like lightning. This shit a hit, I'm a psychic. She want me lick, I'm excited. See, I feel that that's my business, and that's why I'm business minded. Need a push, get behind it. It's a science, apply it. Words come to words, so tried it. Get a bag, get inspired. Shoot your shot, it's the effort. I admire. Get high, it ain't nothing for friends at this point.
Oh my God,
my circle is smaller than the point.
No cap.
I'd rather
We
sit
already
in
get
voice
into that. No,
than
we
hearing the
already
fake
hot.
on their voice.
We already
business report.
Mhm.
All right. So what we had UFC Long Island, and it was just I'm glad I ain't bet on this night. That's all I'm gonna say.
Why?
Because when you have people that you fighters, anytime you're making a bet, you placing a wager on somebody's health, somebody doing the right thing, somebody being able to win, beat somebody else to a pulp. If they're a better fighter, I could bet on them to not be good enough to not get caught. You know what I mean? Because that's how easy it can happen. So, I'm just saying, like, it was just certain things that happened throughout the night that I'm just glad I didn't bet. And so first fight for the no cap recap, we had Jessica Penne versus Emily Ducote. She came through with the W. She just stayed composed.
She stayed busy too.
And she did stay busy, absolutely. But at the same time, Jessica stayed busy as well. Emily Ducote just had the moments that shined. She had more moments that shine, and because she was inflicting damage. Emily Ducote, it seemed like this is another one they're about to try to boss up, move up, and say, okay, she's the next one.
I don't know about that.
Exactly. So I see a lot of growth in her game. She stayed composed enough for 3 rounds to get a unani. So
yeah,
I'm guessing like all she could do is just build from that, and add on to that.
It was her debut too, so
absolutely.
That always works out good when you can get a win in your debut.
Hell yeah. Next, we got Dustin Stolfoots versus Dwight Grant. I had Dwight Grant winning this one. Like I said, good thing I didn't bet on it because I thought his style was not, Stolfoots wouldn't be able to control his style or handle his style. And as I saw, it's like he couldn't handle his style. Dwight Grant just beat himself, when it comes to the cardio side, when it comes to the pushing forward side. I don't know if he, felt the power of Stolfoots and decided to, relax, but he had the opportunity to win that fight. And it's almost like you got the lane to either go if you want to win the fight or if you want to lose the fight. And losing the fight, it starts off by being a little lazy a little bit. And then that's when it just keeps going downhill from there.
I think also Dustin had more memorable moments. Also, like taking him into the middle of the cage, airborne, stood out the most. And it's just, I guess he was doing more work too. But also, I think what helped was the memorable moments.
Yeah, that slam, it was definitely memorable, but it's just like that was one takedown for all of the
the many takedowns.
That was one takedown. No, that for that time, that was one takedown for all of the damage that he's already taken.
Yeah.
So because he was taking damage the whole time while he was standing up. Every time they would come in contact, Dwight Grant will be the one landing. Stolfoots was getting his off a few times, but Dwight Grant was definitely landing because he was being first and he was being last on, each combination.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dustin Stolfoots though for getting it done and just staying composed, being an entertainer. I think sometimes that's what helps gets it, you know, like it might kind of beat on the confidence of your opponent, you know, you raising your arms and trying to pump the crowd up and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, I guess. But Dwight Grant, it seemed like to me he kind of beat himself more so than really getting taken over by Stofus. So that's how I see it. What you see on this?
Because I was looking at how Dustin and Dwight were just going at it, and he dropped them, and he was just mad. It was like close to the end of the round too. So it's just, yeah, I think the memorable moments helped him in and inflicted more power on the ground. Yeah, but he definitely had like his challenges on the stand up.
Yeah, and like most of those punches were on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and it's just like they still count. So it's just like, really, you know, he just, that's what I'm saying. Like you said, he just worked. It was more effort applied. You know, he worked more. He worked harder to get the W.
Yeah.
So once again, shout out to Dustin Stofus, because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. Because it's like nobody's gonna let you have shit, you know,
unless they're giving you a layup.
unless they give you a layup. And next, and Dustin Jacoby did not get a layup. This was not a layup. The Unjung, Dustin Jacoby got the first round knockout once again. And it's just like, it seemed like he was leveling out to his competition level. And then that's when, you know, he gets one of these. So it's just like, he's one of those guys that's constantly coming up. He's definitely want to come up.
Yeah, and I did see like the respect level when they first got into the ring, but it was like, you got to be first or you're going to get knocked out type situation. And so he was first and he got the victory.
Yeah, and it's almost like he felt he probably was going to get knocked out if he didn't knock him out.
Yep.
Because that shit was coming fast. They was
Yep.
swinging. They was swinging for real, and Dao Jung was definitely there trying to get his KO in first,
Yep.
but it just didn't happen.
This was the one that I thought was premature. And I was trying to see if it was going to be consistent the rest of the night, and it wasn't. And so like, it was just, I don't know. I didn't agree with this KO because he was still aware of what was happening. He had time. They didn't like give him much time to recover. It wasn't like one of those where everything just went limb. And I don't think that this was the right call. I think this was too soon.
It was an early stoppage.
I do think it was an early stoppage. Yeah.
And we talked about that. And it seemed like when Dustin Jacoby put his arms up in the air and was like walking towards him, that's when the ref was just like, I guess he's done. And he kind of pulled Jacoby away. And then you said it before the fight happened. You was like, who's this ref? I haven't seen this ref. You don't.
Yeah, he looked like part of the mob. We're gonna talk about how all the mob was in the building, just in the front row. They had
the mob in the building.
The mob was in the building.
Yeah, the mob was definitely, they definitely gave out a few tickets.
No, well, yeah, he probably had to.
What you think they said front row and they paid for them? No,
they got money though, but I don't think they paid for it.
But yeah, the mob, some things money can't buy, and free tickets at the front row, all them dressed up like that.
Yeah,
those individuals in the front row, like Dana pulled some strings. He had to
protect himself.
Yeah, he in New York, so he got, you know,
you gotta play by the rules.
Stay sturdy.
Yeah.
But Dustin Jacoby, that is true. I do think that was a kind of early stoppage, and I noticed how like the commentators were saying, look how his eyes rolled in the back of his head.
Didn't see that.
Didn't catch that part. Didn't catch his eyes rolled in the back of his head. But shout out Dustin Jacoby. He got performance of the night as well, getting it done. Speaking of performance of the night, Bill Algeo versus Herbert Burns.
Oh my gosh.
Bill Algeo was just ready to fight, and that was good. Herbert Burns was trying to be in a jiu-jitsu match, and it was not happening.
Yeah, I said once he lost that triangle, if you fumble that bag, it's over for you. He fumbled the crap out of that bag, and then he was just so defeated. He kept trying to throw up submissions. It was so sad, and he went into retirement after this. After that fight, he went into retirement. It's just like he gave up in the middle of the fight. He didn't even want to get up off the floor. Second round, the ref got tired of that. No nonsense. My favorite ref. no nonsense. He's like, nah, this fight's over, because like, you don't want to get up, you don't want to fight anymore. And they did say he had a history of giving up and losing his confidence. And it's just like, you cannot be a fighter expecting to excel as a fighter if you give up so fast.
Yep.
And it's just not gonna work for you. And it sucks because his brother is still in the UFC, great fighter, and it's just like yin and yang with this one.
Yeah.
So it sucks. It was sad to watch. It was like, how did this guy make it to the UFC? Like, I understand he had injuries before, but maybe this is not what you need to be doing, which is he went into retirement. So I wish him all well with that one. But it was sad.
Yeah, and it's always space like for Herbert Burns, guys like Herbert Burns in the jiu-jitsu world. Like, you know, if the right management, he could go all around the US and do seminars and make money, and you know, so it's just like, it's up to him and how he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Bill Algeo was there ready to fight. I don't want to take nothing away from Bill Algeo, because
not at all.
He did there. He definitely played his game and didn't let Herbert Burns in his brother's name or anything around him to deter him. He did almost get caught in that triangle, and I thought it was over for him. And it's just like, I'm trying to think, like, what did Herbert Burns do wrong that didn't get the triangle right? And it was just like he started, Bill Algeo was posturing up early, and Herbert Burns was still trying to pull you down while you were posturing up. He didn't try to go with you a little bit or push past you a little bit to, you know, to get his legs snug in there. But at the same time, I thought he had it too. I thought he
did have it, but
didn't get the arm across.
Nah, that was a different guy. But Bill Algeo, he a black belt, and so he just showed that he knew his shit. It wasn't like no moment where I'm just gonna lock in my guard and get my face beat up and get choked out. No, he actually showed that his black belt jiu-jitsu, and like, it is phenomenal. And I cannot take anything away from him, because it was locked in. He was in there, and it's just,
he got out of it.
He got out of it. He got out of it, and then he tried to pull an arm bar afterwards. He got out of that too. And so it's just like, he was definitely trying to do a jiu-jitsu and an MMA fight, and that was not it.
Next, another performance of the night. Ricky Simone versus Jack Shore. Jack Shore was knocking a lot of guys out. Ricky Simone was about to be another one, but he made sure. But his wrestling definitely just came out to shine. Like, everything he wanted to do, every time he wanted to get him to the ground, even though Jack Shore has really good takedown defense, Ricky Simone was still making it happen. About to be a big problem for bantamweight, especially if he get his hands together.
Yeah, because he's getting better. And I said he was gonna get the finish. It may not have been a knockout, but hey, he still got the finish. I knew it was gonna be him. And then he called out Sugar Shane at the end, and then that's a fight. I'm like, Sugar Shane not gonna win that one, but like, eventually y'all gonna have to see each other if y'all trying to get to that contender spot. So either take the fight now or take the fight later, but eventually you're gonna have to take it.
Yeah, before if Sugar Sean decides to take that fight, but because, you know, like we said, there's gonna be a lot of guys in the top 10 that's having their mouth water because that last display that he just put on, and they might feel like they could do something with that. Ricky Simone, he's a wrestler, so he feel like he could do something with that. But where all these wrestlers that go against him mess up is on the hand. They get caught up on the hands. They get mesmerized on the hands, and they standing up, and they find themselves standing up a lot more than they actually should, and then they get knocked out.
Yeah,
it's too late.
Oh, my stand-up game is with yours. No, you got to know your area. You got to know what's
your
going
lane.
to work. Yeah, but that goes also back to being a well-rounded fighter. You should work on all your crafts. Yeah, you can have a specialty, but be able to pull more tricks out of that bag, especially after you get more rounds. Like the 5th round, you're gonna need more than just a stand-up fight. Like, for instance, like kickboxers, they got the kicks coming. It's not just hands. And then you got the jiu-jitsu people. They're trying to take you down. You got the wrestlers. You can't. To me, you just having hands is not enough. You need other things going on. You need a ground defense if you don't have a ground game, or you at least know how to get back up. Something. You need something else. But Sugar Shane, his time's coming where he's gonna have to face and have some answers for people on the ground.
Yeah, eventually, hopefully he has some answers. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that part too. But Shout out to Ricky Simone. Jack Shore was definitely working on the hands, and you know, in that second round, he really started touching them up, and which really brought that arm triangle, which was pure strength. By the way, I want to say that was not like technique. He had the arm in the neck where it needed to go, but at the same time, it's just like the angle and everything, and the setup. That was strength. Like
So what he said was
else.
they call it, and in his gym they call it the Simone choke or the Ricky choke because of the awkward way that he finishes it. And I thought that was interesting. So he's able to pull this on multiple people the way that he's doing. So it's just modified.
One small arms and strong as fuck.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Not small arms, because he does not have small arms, short arms.
Yeah,
yes,
there you go.
Short arms, but at the same time, like he hits that choke, especially with that shoulder strength, and it's elite at this point, especially if they targeting his coining his name after it.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was saying. I was like, he must hit that often.
Next, speaking of, he must hit that often. He ain't scared of nobody. Soriano versus Dolce Lugambala. Why are you shaking your head?
Because this was just sad. This man he got these big ass thighs, and he had it out as a weapon the entire time. It threw like the commentators off, and they was like, he not gonna put his thigh away. They was just real fixated on his thighs. I was too, not gonna lie about that. But it was just like, he didn't have anything else to offer. It looked like he was very timid. It just looked like he was gassed. His coaches didn't want him to go to the ground because he was burning a lot of energy, and they wanted him to stay out of the clinch. So it's just like, what is this man prepared for? Because it didn't seem like he was prepared for much. It's like, y'all telling him to avoid all of these areas. What are y'all doing in the gym? You got to ask yourself.
I think they wanted him to control his energy, and he may have been hurting his ribs by that part. Like, so
that's what they were saying, that his ribs may have been like an issue, but you know, that goes back to taking care of yourself and knowing what's important. I mean, you can try to power through with a rib, but once somebody know your rib is messed up, that's
only
what he
gonna
did.
Get worse.
Exactly. He started going towards that midsection as soon as the commentator said something. And I'm like, they couldn't keep that a secret. Like, they wanted the fight to be over type. Hey, let me point this out that you didn't notice. And they was helping him get out of like the clinch and giving him word for word on how to get out of things. And then I'm just over that. I'm so over it.
So much coaching coming from the commentary desk, and it's altering fights. Yes. And I don't know who notices it or not, or they like that ad or that build to it. I would think that somebody bet money on the back end. You know what I'm saying? If I could help sway the fights or help coach the fight and put some money on this fight and help sway it in the direction that I wanted to go, I'm winning all night, every night.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not just about them coaching. It's about what this can turn into. It's like y'all are taking away the integrity of the fight.
Yeah.
Like commentators, when you go back and look at the fights back then, before all the fighters were really commentating, it was just commentators, and that's what they were doing. They were commentating.
Play-by-play analysts.
Now you have former fighters who've done it, and they can't switch off the what to do. They can and turn on the commentator, and they can only switch on the what to do. If that's the case, then you should coach. Like if that's the case, then you should start a YouTube channel and break down fights, and then tell people what they should do. Not during the fight, because you're altering the fights and you're fucking up people money.
Agreed. I'm so sick of the coaching and just telling them how to get out of stuff because they want to make it more entertaining. Like, no, let the fight happen how it's supposed to fight. They have coaches over in their corner for a reason. Remember what Trailblazer said? Thank you, DC. Thank you, DC. I had DC in my corner. He helped me. If I would have had DC here.
Yes, and it's free coaching. And it's just
as
like
a commentator.
They know when they help. They know when they said something and then they reacted to something.
Mm-hmm.
Like any YouTubers out there, if y'all ain't got no time, if y'all ain't got nothing to do, just go on the UFC fights and make a compilation of every time they said something in the commentary that a fighter should do, and the fighter immediately reacted and did it. And it's not, and you know when they're listening, and you know when they doing something that they actually should do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, once again, it's just like, what can you do until it gets acknowledged? But soon, I think it's going to get acknowledged soon.
Yep.
Because it's just the right fighter didn't speak up on it. Because fighters ain't going, that win ain't going to really speak up on it. It's going to be the fighters that lose and they don't really get the mic at the end. And if they do say the death was helping to win the fight, then you sound like then you sound pussy. So it's just like, now it's just like, you don't got a leg to stand on and really sound like a solid fighter that was going to get another fight, especially if you take shots at the commentary desk. You know, the only people that really take shots at the commentary desk are the people that work at the commentary desk. You know, what's his name? Dominic Cruz.
That's because they be trying to get in their corner. They be trying to get on their good side.
Exactly.
Get that coaching.
Exactly. Yeah, and they don't want to mess that up for themselves.
Yep. So it's just like, if I hush now, they might save me later.
Yep. Maybe they might like me later.
That's that hush money.
Exactly. Shit, and betting on the back end. Like,
yep.
if I was DC and I had that type of power, it's just like, I would be able to see that, like, oh, I really can say something and they just react. He knew he could do that before anybody ever picked that up. It's a sore spot, just because they know they have the power to control how fights go from the commentary desk, especially when the fights die down and it's not a lot of energy or something. It's like, oh, they need to give these guys something. They need to, oh, this crowd is hungry. They need something. And that's commentary. Yes, that's the commentary that the fighters need to hear to be able to react. But when you're coaching, that's different.
Giving play-by-play, this is what you need to do to get out of it.
Literally telling guys how to finish and execute the takedown. People that's watching that shit, they don't give a fuck. They just know that he need to get the takedown. And once he get the takedown, you could talk about it like that. There's different ways, maybe, if you want to go into that, but you shouldn't have enough time because you should be talking about the fucking fight. So, you know, they talk about what they want to talk about. They fight all this time to get on the commentary desk to talk about what fighters should do and coach. They should just be a coach. You probably make more money doing that. Like DC. No, DC, if DC wanted to strictly be a coach, he could coach a shit ton of fighters if he wanted to.
Let me tell you why. It's because it goes off the portion of your purse. Now, do you commentate and you guarantee every fight? Now you have to wait on specific fighters to be their coach, you know, and then there's that conflict of interest of who they fight in and all that other stuff. So it's a safer bet just being a commentator because you have more consistent money, more consistent.
No, because you can't lose.
Yeah, you can't lose. You guaranteed money.
You guaranteed that.
And a longer time on air. So
yeah, but shout out Soriano. You know, you dogged it out. You did what you had to do in there, and Dolce's gas tank went out on him.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like it wasn't even just ribs, because a lot of times you see guys get hurt in there all the time. But it seemed like when your condition is right, you see people tough do certain things, different things. But a rib, I don't know. They could have called that one and stopped that one early.
He ended up doing it himself because he just kind of, you know, had to ball up at the end. It was rough watching that.
It was rough to watch. Next, speaking of rough to watch,
you thought this was gonna be a layup, though.
Main card, Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate. No. When they set stuff up, I know what their intentions are. Miesha Tate is going down in weight. They're not trying to give her the hardest fight that she can get than they would have. They tried to give her Lauren Murphy and they thought that was a layup. Like me, when I thought about their styles, I was thinking Miesha Tate going down in weight. I thought she was going to be a big problem for Lauren Murphy until I remembered that, okay, Lauren Murphy can wrestle.
And she's strong as hell. She's strong arm this motherfucker the entire fight. It was just like control. You saw her face at the end. Miesha Tate was messed up, probably broke her nose again. Her shirt was red and pink. It was crazy.
Yeah, that jab was definitely working in her favor. And then when she brought out the elbows, Lauren Murphy always got the elbows. And when she brought out the elbows, that's when it got worse. That's when the shit got bad. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know what's next for Miesha Tate. I don't know if she want to hit that retirement train. I don't know. I don't know if we might be hearing that soon, but at the same time, I don't know if she's filling the contract still. Lauren Murphy need more fights. And
Lauren Murphy already did her call out about the Shevchenko fight at the end of the year. She said she want to fight the winner. She want to show she a contender. But Miesha Tate, girl, it might be time to just hang it up.
She already did. The way she did Miesha Tate.
Them last couple of fights have been brutal for her. Just brutal.
And Miesha Tate, you know, she was touching at times, but it was a clear difference. Yeah. It was a clear difference, and it's just like
that ain't what she wanted.
It was supposed to be a layup, but it was not. It was a shot block. Next, Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. Speaking of shot block, Charles Air Jourdain, he got his shot blocked last night by Shane Burgos, and it was a tight fight too. It was a tight fight in the sense of like Charles Jourdain just being super fast and really good with his striking. But Shane Burgos just not the guy to just go out when you touch him a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like Shane Burgos is one of those guys we say got a championship chin. You know, like, and it's crazy because a lot of times they put him up against guys. They're really putting Shane Burgos up against dogs. Like really putting him up against dogs.
That just shows you how elite he is. And then like the first round was Charles Jourdain, and then the second and the third round went to Shane Burgos. It seemed like he wanted it more, and it's just he stayed more consistent and he had more activity. And so and he from New York, so he definitely couldn't lose in New York. Yeah,
it got shaky in the third when he just started eating punches. He was eating head kicks. He was eating a lot of shit. But at the same time, it's just like he still was putting it on, putting the work on. And then when he took his back, like he really controlled him that whole second round pretty much. Yeah. And that was good transition work that he was doing. Yeah. Because it's just like in order for him to stay in that, like in order for him to stay on his back, there was so much transition work he was doing. Those small adjustments that he was making up and down his back really played a big part to him, you know, staying on his back.
Yeah. That body triangle was crazy.
And Charles Jourdain was really doing a good job of fucking surviving. That's the part.
He was.
You know, he was staying calm, even though he had a few cranks on him. He had to fucking just go to a happy place. Because you could do about that crank sometimes like that. You can try to pull back, but just go to a happy place and wait till it's over. It's over.
Wow. Yeah. So you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. But shout out to Shane Burgos. It's still going up. It's still getting people out the way. I can't wait to see who he's gonna fight next. But next, we got Matt Schnell versus Sumaraji. I know I said it right.
I'll take it.
This one came through. Matt Schnell came through with triangle after almost getting his ass beat. After this supposed to being a layup. And then I think somebody in the podcast said, hey, y'all got to give Matt Schnell some easier fights. You guys are just giving him all the dogs. That's what they do to all. Give him the dogs. Now they don't. Now they give him Sumaraji. And Sumaraji, you know, I say he a dog because he all right. But at the same time, Matt Schnell was supposed to win this one. You know, he was actually supposed to win this one. So that's why I think he almost failed the test. But the thing about it is, like, you got to fight somebody else, bruh. And you're not going to fight somebody else that's on the same level as him. They're going to want you to fight somebody that's on a higher level than him. So, you know,
only saved him.
You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to still win this fight, but he's the underdog because the people's faith in him. You know, I will say the way he put the finish together, it was nice. It was good.
It
was good, even with the transition, getting on top and transitioning to the triangle.
It was fast and smooth.
You know, it was smooth. It was smooth for sure. But at the same time, it's just like, I think he already leveled out to his competition level, you know, and they're going to keep just trying to put him up there. But, you know, it's all in his progression. Let's see how that go. Speaking of progression, Li Jingling versus Muslim Salikov. This one was a good one. Second round KO. Salikov had a great spin package when it comes to anything spin. When it comes to, because you can't tell when it's coming. Li Jingliang finally got a timing on it and really made it work in his favor.
Yeah.
And pulled off the knockout. Li Jingliang was really on the come up before Chimaev, so I don't want nobody to really think that it's sweet with Li Jingliang, like he's not a dog for real. So just everybody keep that in mind. Plus, he took some wild shots in there too.
Yeah, he did.
What you think about this, Salikov?
I think the only thing that he had was, that spinning back fist, and it seemed like he was trying to like keep going at, like, that's his thing. I get it, but you need more weapons in that bag.
I mean, he has good wrestling as well.
Yeah, but we didn't get to really see that.
Yeah, he has
trying to spin.
Yeah, I mean, he's using what works for him. That's the only thing I can think about, just using what works for him.
No,
each of them got to take down. So
it didn't work for him.
And it's just like he could have almost pulled it off if they would have went to the decision, but he got the knockout. Li Jingliang got the knockout, and that was the goal. Next, we got Amanda Lemos versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Amanda Lemos came through with the W, submission of the night, guillotine choke round 2. It was one of those sneaky ones where, shout out to Michelle Waterson-Gomez for holding her integrity down and really saying she tapped, because she could have lied. Cameron would have saw her, but she could have lied.
Yeah.
And shout out to Amanda Lemos, like, wasn't expecting a submission, thought she was going to do it with the hands.
She was rocking her with the hands, though.
Yes. It just shows that Amanda Lemos is still like on another level from the other competition.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. Yair, we're gonna keep it just as short as the fight was, and Yair Rodriguez did his motherfucking thing, was overpowering Brian Ortega the whole time. Brian Ortega got caught in the arm bar, yanked his arm out, and ended the fight.
Yeah.
Yanked his arm out and then talk about running it back. Nah, bro.
I think they should still run it back.
I don't think they should run it back. Brian Ortega need to go to the gym for a few more years. Let Yair go up some more, because Brian Ortega clearly was not in the same hand category, ground game category as Rodriguez. It was clear.
I still think they should run it back.
Even in that one round, it was obvious. But shout out to Yair Rodriguez. You were supposed to win that anyway. It was going to be just in a worse way if it went any more rounds.
Yeah.
So shout out for you to getting that W and showing that you are a clear winner, clear different level. Round table, no cap recap. So shout out to Yair Rodriguez.
I hope they run it back. I know you feel very indifferent about it because your guy won, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But I think we should be able to see more from that fight. Yep. It was definitely Brian Ortega's his own fault, because you're supposed to do the short choppy pulls, not the he thought he had it and he didn't, and it turned out in the worst way possible. Like he said, if Rodriguez is open to it, they will fight in the future if he's not going up for another title shot. So, and he agreed, and I think that is awesome of him, and I really hope we can see another good fight from this, and not have it result in injury.
But he won that title shot. I will say is I did say Brian Ortega was going to win the fight, but I'm glad it went this way. I didn't bet on it, and now I see when I bet again, I will be betting all the way on Yair Rodriguez, because his hands are completely different than Brian Ortega, and the groundwork. The ground game is different. Make sure y'all go check us out on Spotify, iTunes, all the streaming platforms, RoundHouse RoundTable. Look it up, Google us, find us anywhere. We there. RoundHouse RoundTable, better than cable, and we out of here.
Better than cable.
That's why I use the heat as a sword, cause keep the peace is important. They go keys for you. Say please. That's one, please. Don't need. No one, that's two, please. Don't leave. That's 3, 4. If you do